Have you guys seen or even heard of the kids brunch video that's been circulating around TikTok? Because at first I thought it was just a fun little gathering, but when I actually watched the video, my jaw quite literally hit the floor. Kids popping bottles of juice like it's champagne, a money bottle service, and even poles in the venue. Yeah, this is way past brunch. It is a full-on mini nightclub. And we need to talk about why this is not just weird, but it is actually really messed up. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it.
Oh no!
Well, these two videos that you guys are seeing are from a place in Washington, D.C. that is called the Upper Room. And it shows a group of kids attending what is supposed to be a brunch. So how I came about this is there was a lady on TikTok venting negatively, so I thought, about how inappropriate this is. And I was side-eyeing the video because I hadn't seen the main video she was talking about. And I was like, this girl is tripping over a kid's brunch. I thought it was kid-friendly. A kid-friendly event. But boy, was I wrong. It's giving night vibes, not the family-friendly gathering that I had initially thought. And you know what's even crazier? There were people defending this video, and for what some of you may agree as good reason, but we're gonna talk about that here in a bit. The kids are pouring sparkling juice like they're toasting a champagne. There are girls delivering these drinks. There's also a money that is spraying cash, and the kids are celebrating like they just closed a big deal in the VIP section. One video even shows a girl pouring juice outside a party bus van, whatever you want to call it, mimicking an adult champagne moment. You guys have seen adults when they shake the champagne and pour it up. That's exactly what this little girl was doing. And yes, there are poles in the venue, which no kid was using, but why were they even in that venue to begin with? This whole vibe feels extremely off. Look, kids imitate what they see. That's just how they learn. But when you set them up in a place like what you guys just watched, you're basically teaching them that the night culture is the goal, that this is something they should aspire to. They're at an age where they should be, I don't know, playing outside, learning new skills, or even just enjoy being a kid, not throwing a mock VIP party. And here's the thing, some people say, oh, it's harmless fun. Let them live just a little bit. But it's not just about fun when you look at the bigger picture. This kind of environment is normalizing behaviors that are way too mature for their age. Childhood is supposed to be the short, magical time where kids can just be kids. They don't need to be introduced to champagne toast or bottle service. And it's crazy that I even have to say that. Once you blur those lines, it's hard to go back, no matter how much you try. What really gets me is how many adults were there hyping this up as if it's cute. And what's even crazier is the kids are not the ones that set up this whole environment. It was the adults. The parents who let their kids attend, the parents who set this event, and even the culture that is so obsessed with making kids look as well as act like many adults all played a part in all of this nonsense. It is one thing to want kids to have fun, but this is quite literally crossing a line. And if you really sit down and think and relax, this isn't just a weird brunch. It's about the message we're sending to kids. They don't need to grow up this fast. As adults, we have got to do better. Instead of encouraging this kind of behavior, we should be protecting their innocence and giving them space to just enjoy being young, because being young is only this much. And having room to be an adult is so much more compared to that little moment. Don't mess it up for them. Big Jess said, I know they had a ball. I need to bring my son and his friends. They're going to, what? They gon'. And then the original person that posted this says, girl, my godsons and my son had me crying. And then the Jessie laughs. Off the Grid Woo said, these kids never had a chance or an option. And she says, which is the original creator, these kids have tons of options and chance, love. You have no options and wish you had a chance. I wish we had punctuation. The Off the Grid responds saying, okay, good luck with teaching kids about degenerate bar club culture. I'm sure there won't be any aspiring girls or hoodlums from that group of children. And she responds and says, and definitely no inspiring rappers for you to manage with no promising career. Which he responds, I'm assuming, did I hit a nerve? I didn't think telling someone that looks like an adult that introducing 6 to 10-year-olds to club bottle girl alcoholism culture would be a thing that should be argued. And the creator said, no, you actually didn't. They don't have alcohol and they are at a restaurant. It is no argument at all. You don't have to attend. However, there are several people that will, your opinion is yours. Oh, there are several people that will. Your opinion is yours. I honestly don't think adults should have neck tats, but I'm not judging you because what does this have to do with anything? He got the neck tats most likely at an appropriate age, or at least I'm hoping. But what does that have to do with anything? Anyway, neck tats, but I'm not judging you because you do. I'll just raise my child to know there are other ways to express yourself. There sure are. Plenty of other ways to express yourself. You raise yours how you see fit and I'll do the same. You on my page, I'm not on yours. Once my husband and I decide to have children, I don't want no parts in this type of culture. The culture of club, the culture of bringing up excuses for kids and raising them to be grown, but then also trying to it's too much. He responds, not reading all of that, but the kids need better. You shouldn't have read all of that, honestly. And she says, trust me, they're good. And he says, with that being said, I'll bow out. And then Lachey says, what happened to Chuck E. Cheese patties? And she responds, we've done them before. Times are changing, love. Pre said, this is getting them prepared to. She responds, at least they're not prepared to smoke like your. Listen, the lack of accountability and her being so defensive is so troubling to me. Do you own the upper room? Because at this point, what is going on? She responds, about to have fake IDs by the age of 16 in somebody's club. She says, I had one, I own the club now. Okay, spoke too soon. It explains the behavior and then we wonder why we're dealing with so much crazy people out here in society. It's because they're being raised by somebody that thinks this way. And she is not the only person. There were tons of kids in that video. So how many more of Shay Guinness do we have? And then somebody tells her to shut up. And then she says, LMAO, you could vouch. I've been in the class. Okay, I don't know. You guys, okay, anyway. There was another person that said, this was dumb. And she says, you're dumb. Someone says, very. No future doctors or lawyers, just bottle and scammers. You're absolutely right. Drill rappers waiting to put on a flyer. Now you going to brunch makes you a bottle and a scammer. The delusion is real. Every single one of their parents have degrees and government jobs, love bug. Your kids may be, but never ours. Okay. It's a fact. Oh my, okay. I don't like arguing or having a discussion with somebody that is so closed off and already has their mind set on something that's complete BS. Clearly you see what they're talking about, but you're acting as if going to brunch is an issue. No, going to brunch, going to breakfast, there's not an issue there. Heck, I thought the video was about kids just being cute, going to an appropriate restaurant, doing kids stuff. It doesn't even have to be Chuck E. Cheese. It's the fact that you sent them to Upper Room, a venue with freaking poles. Thank God they were not used or they were not shown in the video. Whatever the case is, like you, as well as the parents. I'm gonna crash out. I need to take a little break. Y'all have lost it. We're cooked. That is it.
At this point, I just don't get it. I don't understand these generations. I don't understand the separation. I don't understand the conditional contract for certain things to be a certain way, and it's not okay to be this way. So it's about the upper room brunch for kids. I just find this conversation so funny because everybody's saying, oh, that's too grown, too grown, too grown, too grown. I'm just trying to figure out what part of playing mama and daddy was not growing up in all generations. I wait, and I don't want to hear it's not the same thing. It's not, it's conditioning. It's the same thing. It's molding, it's conditioning. It's cruel them to understand certain things, right? It's trying to teach them for the future, right? Now some of y'all talking about they too strict, but y'all the same ones who put y'all kids in a crop top at 10. Y'all the same one who don't have these rules when it comes to boys, but got these rules when it comes to little girls. Y'all see how what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander? Like that don't make no sense. So you right. All y'all videos are saying we're doomed. We been doomed because y'all can't seem to come to an agreement on nothing. Like nothing. We all got an opinion. We all entitled to our opinion and our feelings. But in my personal opinion, I do not think it's too grown. I do not think it's at the end of the day, we can't stop the things they see and hear on a regular basis. You don't. You're not supervising your child 24/7, even if you're homeschool and you work from home. You still won't supervise your child 24/7. I just think this is a good setting. Now, would I take my 9-year-old here? No. But would I take a person like this is something where you have to make judgment in your own house, know your child, know their maturity level. Like there's a difference between being grown and being mature. There is a hell of a difference, and that's where some parents don't understand there's a line. But again, cut that. It's not too grown. I wouldn't take my little child there, like a 9-year-old or under, but I would definitely take like my preteen. I would take an 11-year-old and up. I surely do.
So I totally understand the argument that playing house may not have always been ideal, is not ideal actually. Just because something questionable was done in the past does not justify exposing children to harmful situations today. Knowing better means doing better, not finding a new way to introduce kids to environments as well as behaviors we know aren't appropriate for kids. I know. Taking children to a setting like that brunch where they mimic adult nightlife, complete with bottle service, a money gun, champagne toast, isn't harmless fun. It exposes them to behaviors they're too young to fully understand, okay? Which can have long-term consequences. The environment itself is inappropriate, regardless of how mature an individual child might seem. Maturity that you speak of isn't about exposure to adult behaviors. It's about growing up at a healthy, natural pace without being rushed into adult spaces. If you recognize something as harmful, whether it's from the past or even the present, the logical response is to avoid it, not excuse it. Parents and guardians have a responsibility to guard their children away from an environment that can negatively shape their understanding of what's normal. This isn't about being overly strict, as you say. It's about protecting children, both boy and girl, protecting their innocence and creating spaces where they can simply be kids. Justifying harmful behavior by pointing out to the past doesn't move us forward. It only repeats the same mistakes in a different form.
I just really want to quickly talk about the whole upper room brunch in DC with the kids, This is not the video you think it is. I am not about to condemn them. I'm actually going to do the opposite. Quick disclaimer, I'm from PG. I don't know these people at all. They had a chaperone watching them the entire time. They weren't twerking. They weren't, throwing money. There was no strippers. There was just them, fake apple cider, good food, obviously, and vibes. I just say, before we throw rocks, let's look in our own houses. I literally was like 10, 11 at Go-Go's with my family on family night? And we were at the Go-Go's and there were kids in sections twerking, well, not twerking, maybe twerking, popping, shall I say, jumping on the couches, dancing on the couches, screaming, just as you would do in the clubs. Like
what I said for the previous lady is the same thing that applies to you.
As someone who is raising a child in DC, seeing that video of the upper room and those children having a little mini brunch is exactly why I'm okay with not allowing my child to hang out around your children. You guys do not want to raise kids anymore, and it's disgusting. You want to raise friends. You want to have your children adults at an early age instead of being a good parent and raising them like a child is supposed to be raised. Like a child, not a friend, not an adult, but a child. I don't think y'all realize that skipping the child phase adultifies your children and can potentially sexualize your children. You guys are skipping that phase, that Justice phase, that Claire's phase, and going straight to Fashion Nova. Y'all are adultifying children. Y'all are exposing them to alcohol, sex, drugs, and it's really annoying raising a child in this alpha generation. Because I don't want my kid around y'all's. My son is actually learning things he shouldn't be learning from other children because y'all are such bad parents that you teach your children things at too early of an age. Why the my son doesn't know anything about no fucking brunch, no liquor, no drugs. He don't know none of that. None of that. But I bet you he'll learn it before I can teach him because y'all are such bad parents. It's actually really disgusting.
Let me know what you guys think of this entire video in the comment section below, and I'll see you